सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। मनोबुद्ध्यहङ्कार चेतानि नाहम् न च श्रोत्रजिह्वे न च घ्राणनेत्रे न च व्योमभूमिर्न तेजो न वायुः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वै पञ्चवायुः न वा सप्तधातुर्न वा पञ्चकोशः न वाक्पाणिपादौ न चोपस्थपायो चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न मे द्वेषरागौ न मे लोभमोहौ मदो नैव मे नैव मात्सर्यभावः न धर्मो न चार्थो न कामो न मोक्षः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै. Let us chant from 19. इति क्षेत्रं तथा ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं चोक्तं समासतः मद्भक्त एतत् विज्ञाय मद्भावायोपपद्यते प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव विध्यनादि उभावपि विकारांश्च गुणांश्चैव विद्धि प्रकृतिसम्भवान् कार्यकरणकर्तृत्वे हेतुः प्रकृतिरुच्यते पुरुषः सुखदुःखानां भोक्तृत्वे हेतुरुच्यते पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गोऽस्य सदसद्योनिजन्मसु उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता च भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वरः परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तः देहेऽस्मिन् य एवं वेति पुरुषं प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि न स भूयोऽभिजायते. This chapter is named Kshetrajña Vibhaga Yoga. If you see the question asked by Arjuna, there are 6 factors. Kshetra, Kshetrajña, Purusha, Prakriti, Jnana and Neya. So since Purusha and Prakriti is nothing but Kshetra, Kshetrajña, and since Neya Vastu is nothing but Kshetrajña, and Jnanam is nothing but actually the knowledge of Kshetrajña alone, or the knowledge of Kshetra and Kshetrajña. Here it is defined, Jnanam is defined as the virtues needed to qualify oneself to know Kshetra and Kshetrajña. So the main topic is what? Kshetra, Kshetrajña only. That is why this chapter is known as Kshetra, Kshetrajña Vibhaga Yoga. So now, yesterday we had seen what is the role of Purusha and what is the role of Prakriti. What is the role of Kshetrajña and what is the role of Kshetra. So, Karya Karana Kartrutve Prakriti Heturuchyate. So the job of Prakriti is to create an environment conducive for the bhoga of Purusha. So the experiencer is Purusha. Prakriti's job is to create a conducive environment for bhoga. So what are the factors necessary for conducive environment? There has to be sense objects, there has to be sense organs, there has to be the body. So once these are done, Prakriti job is over. Then what does this Purusha do? Purushaha Prakritisthaha Bhungte Prakritijan Gunan. This Purusha, then he experiences the gunas of the Prakriti, seated in Prakriti. So why are we born in this world? Guna Sangha is the cause. Karanam Guna Sangosya Sat Asat Yoni Janmaso. So we desired this world, therefore we are in this world. So if you want to put an end to this birth-death cycle, what should you do? Stop desiring the world, isn't it? Desire God. When you desire God, Swamiji, isn't it another desire? Yes, it is another desire, but it is that desire which puts an end to all desires. Desiring God also appears to be a desire, but it is an auspicious desire. What happens when you desire God? Whatever you desire, you get. This is the law of the universe. Whatever the Purusha desires, he will get it. Because Purusha is none other than the Supreme Lord. Whatever the Lord desires, it has to happen. Prakriti has to give it. So when we desire God, what is the nature of God? God is Ananda Swarupa. He is desirelessness. Desirelessness is his nature. So when you desire desirelessness, what happens to you? You become desireless. When you become desireless, then there is no more world for you, needed for you, because you don't need world. So the world stops getting projected by the mind. And this is what we call as Samadhi. So what is Samadhi Sthiti? Samadhi Sthiti is that state of desirelessness because of which the mind has stopped projecting the world. So when the mind stops projecting the world, there is no Triputi. What is Triputi? The experiencer, the experienced, and the experiencing. Three things, Triputi. Knower, knowing, known. Drashta, drashya, darshanam. Three things. So what happens? When there is no desire to see anything, drishya goes away, darshanam goes away. What remains? Drashta alone remains. Now since he is not seeing anything, that name also becomes meaningless. What remains is only pure consciousness. So this is the purpose of life. So how to put an end to this birth-death cycle? Choose God. Don't choose the world. This is the message of the entire Bhagavad Gita. In every chapter it is the same message again and again, again and again repeated. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Surrender unto me. Choose me alone. Mad bhakta yanti mamapi. Those who are my devotees, they reach me. Devi hesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante mayametam terantite. So to cross over this maya, there is only one way: surrender unto God. And this is the message of Bhagavad Gita. So how does this Jivatma evolve to that higher state? So there's a beautiful words which we have seen yesterday. Upadrashtanumantacha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha Paramatma iti chapyuktaha Dehesmin Purushaha Paraha. So different levels. Now actually whatever is said in Bhagavad Gita, it is nothing but the essence of Upanishads only. So which is that mantra which comes to our mind when we read this? The mantra is from the Mundakopanishad. Dvasuparna sayuja sakhaya samanam vriksham parishasvajate tayoranyaf pippalam swadu atti anasnannanyo abhichakashiti. Very famous verse from Mundakopanishad. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya. Two birds with beautiful wings. Suparna. Sayuja. They are very, very close to each other. They are friendly with each other. Close friends. They are seated on a tree. What is this tree? Body is the tree. Which are these two birds? One is Paramatma, the other is Jivatma. Tayuranyaf pippalam swadu atti. Out of that, these two birds, one bird, pippalam swadu atti, it is eating the fruits of this tree. Anashnannanyo abhichakashiti. The other bird, it's not eating, it is just watching this bird eating. So what is this phala? It is nothing but karma phala. So who is the eater? The Jivatma. Who is the watcher? Paramatma. So what is the condition of this eater Jivatma? Miserable. Samane vrikshe purusho nimagnaha anishaya shochati muhyamanah. Anishaya, powerless, shochati, full of sorrow, muhyamanah, totally deluded, nimagnaha, drowning in sorrow. Jushtam yada pasyatyanyamisham asya mahimanam iti vita shokaha. But that bird, full of misery, when that bird, its attention turns to that other bird which is just watching. Jushtam yada pashyati anyam, which is that other bird? Isham. Asya mahimanam, seeing the glory of the other bird. Iti vita shokaha, it becomes free from all sorrows. See the beauty? The same thing is mentioned here. Upadrashta. So who is Paramatma? Upadrashta, seer, watcher, witness, remaining close. Upadrashta. So that Bhagavan takes different roles. Anumanta, the inner guide. Bharta, the support. Maheshwaraha, the very same Bhagavan is the Lord of the whole universe. And finally, this Jivatma understands this Lord as Paramatma, one's own self. Then what happens? Nasa bhuyo vijayate. Then he is not born. Such a person who knows this great truth, he is no more born again. Why there is no birth? There is no birth because there is no desire. Why there is no desire? Because he has attained that state of perfection. Once you reach that state of perfection, there is no more desire left. Absence of desire expresses as absence of birth-death cycle. Now Bhagavan makes a very important point here. Sarvatha vartamanopi nasa bhuyo vijayate. Whatever that person may be, he may be a grihasthashrami or a sannyasashrami, it doesn't matter. He may be a child or an old man. He may be very active in the world or totally inactive. It doesn't depend at all. He is not going to be born. So the external lifestyle has nothing to do with internal realization. So what are the different expressions? That is what is seen in the next two verses. Let us chant the next three verses. Dhyanena atmani pashyanti kechidatmanam-atmana anye sankhena yogena karma yogena chapare अन्ये त्वेवमजानन्तः श्रुत्वान्येभ्य उपासते तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः यावत् सञ्जायते किञ्चित् सत्त्वं स्थावरजङ्गमम् क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञसंयोगात् तद्विद्धि भरतर्षभ ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति केचिदात्मानमात्मना अन्ये साङ्ख्येन योगेन कर्मयोगेन चापरे अन्ये त्वेवमजानन्तः श्रुत्वान्येभ्य उपासते तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः यावत् सञ्जायते किञ्चित् क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञसंयोगात् तद्विद्धि भरतर्षभ. Yes, so various kinds of seekers are mentioned here. Kechit, some people, pashyanti, they see. What do they see? Atmanam pashyanti. They see their supreme self. With what do they see? Atmana atmanam pashyanti. They see it with their pure heart, pure mind. Where do they see it? Atmani pashyanti. They see it in the heart. Now you see the three terms. Atmana, Atmani, Atmanam pashyanti. But all the three have got different meaning. You see? Atmanam pashyanti, they see Supreme Self. Atmana pashyanti, they see it with a pure mind. So there Atma means pure mind. Atmani pashyanti, they see it. Where do they see it? In the heart. Because it is Hridi Sarvasya Vishthitam. So they see that Supreme Self in their heart with a pure mind. So these are the necessary conditions. You will have to see Supreme Self. You will have to see it in your own heart. And you can see it only with a pure mind. It doesn't matter how you are doing it. So kechit, some people, dhyanena pashyanti. They are regular meditators. Most of the time they sit in meditation and thus they know this. Fulfilling these three conditions. Others, anye, sankhyena yogena. They are Sankhya yogis. What is Sankhya yogi? They are more into studying the scriptures and analyzing, etc. Because they have lot of questions in their mind. And because lot of questions are there, so many, various logical, convincing answers are necessary. So therefore lot of study is necessary, analysis is necessary, lot of thinking is necessary. So they are the Sankhya yogis. Others, they are more into karma yoga, selfless service. So, apare karma yogena pashyanti. Through karma yoga. They don't have any questions and all that. They have understood the thing, but their nature is such, they are more into, selfless service, seva. They also get it. So now what we have to understand from here? Knowledge is the same, but different people are approaching this knowledge from different ways. It is something like a mountain. Different ways are there to reach there. You can't say that my path alone is right and others' path are wrong. No. Basic condition is this. You will have to know the self. You will have to have a pure mind and you will have to know the self, in your own heart. This is the condition. How you attain it, it's up to you. So in the society we find all kinds of seekers, and that is why we have so many spiritual institutions with so many different motives and ways, paths. Some institutions are only seva. Some institutions are more on bhajans and all that. Some institutions like Chinmaya, it is more on study of the scriptures, analysis, etc. All the paths are equally valid. Sarvatha vartamanopi. Right. And there are others also. So you will have to say Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Kundalini Yoga, all yogas have to be included in this. Some samples are only given here. There are others also. Who are they? Anyetu evam ajanantaha. They don't know anything. But Shrutva Anyebhya, they have listened to this. Some satsang, some Mahatma is telling something, they sat there, they listened to it. They have not studied the scriptures, but they listened with total faith, with lot of Shraddha Bhakti. Therefore, these people are called Shruti Parayanaha. Shruti Parayanaha, whatever they have listened, they have total Shraddha Bhakti, and they have no questions, no doubts at all. They consider that as the highest, and then upasate, they practice. They don't have spiritual knowledge, but whatever they have listened, whatever they have understood, they practice. What will happen to them? Te api cha atitaranti eva. They will also cross over what? Mrityum. They will also get liberated. So what is the most important thing? Knowledge is unavoidable. Study of the scriptures is optional. Too much of logical thinking, it is optional. If you have doubts, only then you clear your doubts. You don't have to create doubts by listening to others' doubt and clear it. You understand? Very many people, they have this worry. I don't have any doubts only. These people are asking so many doubts. They get tensed up. Don't worry. If you don't have doubt, don't create doubts. Okay? What is more important is practicing this. Have you understood that this witness in you is God? Yes, that I have understood. Enough. That is enough. You understand? What is important is practice. Again and again remembering God. Whatever you have understood, practice it. That is enough. What is Bhagavan saying? They will also cross over Mrityu. They will also get liberated. Don't worry. But what is the most important thing? This knowledge. What is the knowledge? Yavat kinchit sthavara jangamam sattvam sanjayate. In this world, whatever is born, sattvam. Their sattvam doesn't mean sattva, sattva-guna. Their sattva means a entity, a living being. Sattvam. Sat means existence. So sattvam means that which exists. See, different context, the word will have different meaning. Sattvam doesn't mean sattva-guna. So, in this world, yavat kinchit, any being which is born, sthavara jangamam, sentient or insentient, moving or non-moving. What has to be understood? Tat Kshetra Kshetrajña Sanyogat Vidhi. Know that every being born in this world is born with the mixture of these two. What are the mixtures? Kshetra and Kshetrajña. What do you mean by mixture? It is nothing but identification. So the EMI is made of Kshetra, consciousness is Kshetrajña. This combination is leading to existence of all beings. This is a wonderful statement, because modern movies and all, they start imagining so many beings coming from various kinds of worlds and creating problem in the world. So many movies are there, full of fiction. So you don't have to believe in any of those movies, because Bhagavan himself has said, whoever is born here is born with only these two. You can have creative thinking, foolish thinking, and worry. That is your freedom. But in this world, any being is born out of these two only. Kshetra, Kshetrajña, Sanyoga. This is the knowledge. This knowledge all of us must have, whatever the path you may follow. It is this knowledge which liberates you. Now comes the topic of benefits of this knowledge. Why we must practice this knowledge? What happens when this knowledge is ignored? So let us chant verse number 28 and 29. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishthantam parameshwaram vinashyatsva vinashyantam yah pashyati sa pashyati samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavasthitamishwaram nahi nastyatmanatmanam tato yati param gatim samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishthantam parameshwaram vinashyatsva vinashyantam yah pashyati sa pashyati samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavasthitamishwaram nahi nastyatmanatmanam tato yati param gatim. Yes. Yaha pashyati sa pashyati. The one who sees this way, he alone sees. His understanding alone is right. The one who sees this way. What is that way? Yaha vinashyatsu sarveshu bhuteshu avinashyantam parameshwaram pashyati. So what is he seeing? So when we look into this world, what do we see? We see the physical body. That is the first thing we see, isn't it? In ourselves and in others. What is the nature of this body? Vinashyatsu. It is perishable in nature. Sarveshu bhuteshu. In all being, this is the thing. The body is perishable. This is what we see. But who is the wise man? He is not stuck in the body. What is he seeing? Parameshwaram. What is the nature of Parameshwara? Avinashyantam. So what is he seeing? So he is also seeing the world just like us. He is also seeing the physical bodies of others. But where is his attention? His attention is not upon the perishable body. His attention is upon the imperishable self. This is a sign of knowledge. How will an ignorant person see the other person? For him, the physical body is the most important thing, isn't it? He is stuck in the BMI, he completely forgets about the Supreme Self. He is not even aware of it. Just see the vision. So for him, body is the most important thing. And based on the body, he rates that person. Based on the BMI, he rates the person. This person is good, this person is bad, this person is like this, like that. This is the vision of ignorance. So what is vision of ignorance? Vision of plurality is vision of ignorance. This person is different, that person is different, this I love, this I hate. Bas, full of raga dvesha, full of likes and dislikes, full of differences. This is a vision of ignorance. What is the vision of knowledge? Vision of knowledge is vision of oneness. So when that person sees only Bhagavan in everyone, what will be his vision? Samam tishtantam parameshwaram pashyati. He sees that Lord who is the same in everyone. Bhagavan says, Yahas pashyati sapashyati. This is right vision. So the one who sees Bhagavan seated in the hearts of all, he alone sees. So what is the benefit of this knowledge? The benefit of this knowledge is you cannot but love and respect everyone. That man may be an embodiment of wickedness. But unfortunately, Bhagavan is seated there. What will you do? Can you hate him? In fact, who is that Bhagavan? Your own self. You see? So this is such a wonderful knowledge which makes you helplessly love everyone. Which makes you helplessly forgive everyone. All noble virtues come from this vision, remember. You cannot hate anyone. To put in another way, if you are hating someone, you are still immature. You can give certificate to yourself. How much I have progressed spiritually. First write down who are the people whom you like very much, who are the people whom you dislike very much. If the list is big, to that extent you are immature. Real spiritual strength is inability to dislike, irrespective of that person's shortcoming. I don't say that person has no shortcoming. He has lot of shortcomings. He may be crooked, wicked, everything, but still there is a kind of inability in you to dislike that person. That inability not to help that person. This is how spirituality must express. This is how maturity of a person is rated. So the greatness of spiritual knowledge is you love everyone. You respect everyone. That is why in Hindu culture, how do we greet others? Namaste, Namahate, to you, te, to you, Namaha, my prostrations. Why? Because Bhagavan is seated in your heart. Our way of prostration is not hello. You know the meaning of hello? There is no meaning. That person who invented the telephone, Graham Bell or somebody, he first said hello. Because he said hello, everybody is telling hello only. Very many things in, Western culture is meaningless, but we have adopted it. We have given up our culture, we have taken up somebody else's culture, foreign culture, and we are very serious in practicing it. Nowadays you have this, people saying, touch wood, touch wood. Touch wood means what? Whatever I am saying, it should not become false later because I have told it. Touch wood. Foolish fellow, our culture is by the grace of God. That is our culture. By the grace of God, everything is fine. Now what do we hear people saying? Touch wood, everything is fine. You see the difference in culture? One culture makes you remember God, the other culture makes you touch wood means what? Inert, jada. Your mind is going towards jada. See the difference in culture. Hello, a meaningless word. Hello. Here, Namahate, prostrations unto you. We should be proud of our culture. See, what great culture we have. So from now onwards, don't use touch wood, okay? Anyone, if you find someone using, immediately say, hey, this is not our culture. You will become a wood only, jada. Right. So, the vision of oneness, the ability to see God in everyone. This happens when we gain this knowledge. So what is the benefit? The benefit is hatred feeling has no place in my heart. The beauty of knowledge, you see, who is the one who is benefited by this knowledge? I myself. Hatred is a very painful feeling. It is a disturbance of the mind. Jealousy is a disturbance. Anger is a disturbance. Revenge is a disturbance. But the moment I see myself in others, Bhagavan in others, what happens to all these disturbances? It goes away. So what is the state of that mind? It is cheerful. Even when you are amidst people who have all negativities, your mind continues to remain cheerful. Because your focus is upon the goodness in others, the divinity in others, and not the imperfections in others. So your mind remains pure. Your mind remains unpolluted. See the benefit. Samam. Samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavasthitam ishwaram nahinasti atmana atmanam. Here an amazing statement is made by Bhagavan. A unique way of thinking. He says, the one who sees Bhagavan in everyone, sarvatra samavasthitam ishwaram samam pashyan, the one who sees that Lord in everyone, equally present, such a person, atmana atmanam na hinasti. He will not kill himself by himself. Meaning what? Anyone who is ignoring this knowledge is committing suicide. My God. So what is the definition of suicide? When I kill myself by myself, then that act is called suicide, isn't it? Ātmashatakam. Killing yourself. Here Bhagavan says, anyone who is ignoring this knowledge, he is committing suicide. Why is it so? See, ignoring knowledge means what? Ignoring knowledge means remaining in this wrong notion that I am this physical body. Yes or no? Yes. Now, what is the nature of body? It has to die. So, if you are thinking yourself to be the body, what does it mean? You are killing yourself because the body has to die. And what will be your understanding when the body dies? I am going to die. So, are you not killing yourself? Got it? So, if you are not trying to get rid of this wrong notion that I am the body, then you are really killing yourself. But if you gain this knowledge, you come to know I am consciousness, I have nothing to do with the body, fine. Then, really speaking, you become fearless of death. Because you know there is no death. You are consciousness. So, ignoring this knowledge is nothing but committing suicide. So, when I see myself as consciousness, naturally I will see others also as consciousness alone. So, therefore, this statement is put in a different way. Those who see this Bhagavan present everywhere, he doesn't kill himself by himself. That's the way it is put. If I see God in me, I will see God in others, and thus I will not kill myself by myself. Such a person, tato yati param gatim. Such a person attains the highest. So what are the benefits of this knowledge? Number one, vision of oneness. Number two, freedom from all kinds of negativities of the mind. Number three, freedom from the fear of death. And then what others are there? Let us chant verse number 30. Prakriti cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashah yaf pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sapashyati prakriti cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashah yaf pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sapashyati. Yes, the truth of this world is Sarvashah karmani, all karmas, by all means, Prakritya eva kriyamanani. Prakriti alone does all karmas. This is the truth of this world. Prakriti does everything. Means what? What about Purusha? He doesn't do anything. Actionlessness is his nature. What is the nature of Purusha? Kshetrajña? Actionlessness. What is the nature of Prakriti? I will use the term actionfullness. Full of action. So body is full of action. Mind is full of action. Intellect full of action. Sense organs action. So BMI is full of action. The witness of this BMI is actionless. It just witnesses. Now, if my identification is with this witness, what will I experience? Action or actionlessness? I will experience actionlessness. Remember the identification theory. When A identifies with B, the properties of B appear to be the property of A. So if my identification is with actionless consciousness, my experience will be actionlessness. If my identification is with actionful BMI, my experience will be actionfullness. This experience of actionfullness is what is called as kartrutva buddhi. Sense of doership. What is sense of doership? I am doing, feeling is called sense of doership. I am the doer. Who did it? I did it. I did it. That I did it feeling is called kartrutva bhava. Actually, it is a sign of ignorance. Why is it a sign of ignorance? That sense of doership is a sign that your identification is with the BMI. You will always find the egoistic people, they always talk about themselves. They always talk about what all great things they have done. You just discuss with that person and all the time he is revolving around himself. Right? He can't listen to others because he is not interested in others. He is only interested in himself. So therefore he will keep on talking about himself, what he did, this, that, etc. See, kartrutva buddhi or kartrutva bhava is very strong in egoistic person. Because what is ego? Ego is nothing but strong identification with the BMI. So people who talk about themselves too much, what are they doing? Through a loudspeaker, they are proclaiming how ignorant they are. They don't know, that's all. It's very interesting. The lowest category people, they don't do anything, but they say, I did everything. This is the lowest. Mediocre people, they do it and say, I did it. The highest evolved ones, they do it and they say, I have not done anything. God did everything. I am only an instrument in the hands of God. You see? The highest ones, they do it and they say, I have not done. The lowest one, they don't do anything and they want to take credit for everything. Right? So, this wise man, his identification is with consciousness. What will be his experience? Atmanam akartaram yaha pashyati sapashyati. So he may be doing so many things at the BMI level. But when you ask him, have you done it? He will say, no. God alone has done it. He maybe made me an instrument, that's all. I have not done anything. So this is a sign of wisdom. Remember, when there is absence of kartrutva bhava, what all things you are escaping from? Worry, anxiety, tension, stress. No kartrutva bhava means what? I am not the doer. Bhagavan is doing it. So therefore, karma belongs to him. Karma phala also belongs to him. Why should I get worried and tensed? Isn't it? So what do we find? Freedom from worries, anxieties, tensions. Because there is freedom from doership. This is the benefit of this knowledge. So there is tremendous amount of relaxation. There is tremendous amount of peace. You may be taking huge responsibilities as far as a worldly person is concerned. You may be a head of a huge organization with lot of responsibilities. So the other person says, oh, he must be really stressed. What is his opinion? I don't do anything. He's a master of relaxation. Right? Akartaram. So these are all the benefits, the glories of knowledge. Right? Continuing, next one. Yada bhuta prithak bhavam ekasthamanu pashyati tata eva cha vistaram brahma sampadhyate tada yada bhuta prithak bhavam ekasthamanu pashyate brahma sampatyate tada. Yes. Now see his vision. What is his vision? Bhuta prithak bhavam ekastham anupashyati. He sees bhuta prithak bhavam. That nature of that state where all beings are different. That is what we find when we see the world. All beings are different. Bhuta prithak. Where is he seeing? He sees everything in ekastham, in one place. All beings are seen in one place. All beings are seen in one place. Which place? In the self. All beings seeing in the self. Tata eva cha vistaram. From it, everything has come. Means all beings in the self, self in all beings. That is the next line. Tata eva cha vistaram. It is the expansion of this self alone. Everything is nothing but the expansion of this self. Means what? Self alone is appearing in all bodies. Put in simple way, all beings in the self in all beings. The one who sees both ways. Such a person is free from all delusions. So when that person closes his eyes and sits, what does he feel? The whole world, all beings are in me, the consciousness. When he opens his eyes and sees, the very same consciousness is present as life principle in different beings. So whether he is closing his eyes or opening his eyes, he sees Brahman alone. Such a person, Brahma sampadhyate, he has to attain Brahman. The one who sees Brahman everywhere has to attain Brahman everywhere. Now this is a very interesting usage. Seeing all beings in the self and seeing the self in all beings. What does it mean? It means one of them is illusion. Either all beings are illusion or the self is illusion. It is something like seeing water in wave and wave in water. Seeing water inside wave and seeing wave inside water. Is it possible? It is possible. So one of them is an illusion. What is that illusion? Wave is the illusion, water alone is real. Are you able to see it? This combination is possible only then. Same way, all beings in the self and the self in all beings. So which is unreal, illusion? That beings, it is nothing but illusion. What is real is only the self. So in short, what is said here is, he is seeing only the self. Meaning, he is free from delusion. He is not carried away by the nama rupas of the beings. He is seeing the essence in everyone, inside and outside. So see the benefit. So what is the first benefit we discussed? Freedom from the vision of plurality. Freedom from all negativities of the mind like hatred, etc. Freedom from the fear of death. Freedom from worries, anxieties, tensions born out of the sense of doership. Now, freedom from all delusions. The next one, freedom from all limitations. Let us chant verse number 32. Anaditvat nirgunatvat paramatmayam avyayah sharirasthopi kaunteya na karoti na lipyate. Anaditvat nirgunatvat paramatmayam avyayah sharirasthopi kaunteya na karoti na lipyate. This Mahatma is sharirastha even while living in the body. Even while remaining in the body, sharirastha, seated in the body, means he is alive. He is not videha muktaha, he is jivan muktaha. Sharirastha. Even though he is in the body, he is free from all limitations of the body. That is what is said here. Freedom from all limitations. See the terms used. Anadi. What is the nature of the body? Adi. It has a beginning. Every body has a birth, it has Adi. But what is this person's experience? Anadi, I am beginningless. See? Even though he is in the body which has Adi, his experience is, I am Anadi. Anaditvat nirgunatvat. What is body? It is a product of guna. It is a product of Prakriti. Prakriti guna. So we can say body is saguna, born of the gunas of Prakriti. What is his experience? Nirguna. I have nothing to do with Prakriti. Kshetra. Nirgunatvat. Paramatma. I am avyayah. What is the nature of the body? Vyayah. Perishable in nature. It has Adi, it has Anta. What is the experience of this man? Avyayah. I am imperishable. Remember, that's a wonder. Remaining in the body which is a perishable body, what is his experience? I am imperishable. Remember, they are all subjective experience. When you see a Mahatma, you'll find, he is like me only. Such a huge difference. I am convinced that I am perishable, whereas this Mahatma is convinced that he is imperishable. See that? Sharirastha api. Even when he is seated in this body which is full of limitation, he is free from all limitations. Na karoti, na lipyate. Even though he is in the body, he is untouched, untainted by the properties of the body. That is why lotus is glorified in our culture. Even when it is remaining in that dirty water, it is untouched by water. So this example is used for describing the Mahatmas. Even though they are also in this, that lotus is in dirty water, we are in dirty body, that's all. Dirty, limited, imperfect body. But this Mahatma, sharirastha api, na karoti na lipyate, he is untainted. He is very clear, body is drishya vastu, I am drashta. So, drishya vastu has nothing to do with drashta. Very clearly he has objectified the body. It's an object, I am the subject. and therefore he is untouched. Even though he is in the body is performing a lot of actions, but what is his understanding? Na karoti, I don't do anything. And na lipyate, he is untainted. Now this na lipyate is explained with an example. How can you remain in the body, unaffected by the body, untainted by the body? So Bhagavan gives an example. What is that example? Verse number 33. Yatha sarvagatam saukshmyat akasham nopalipyate sarvatravasthito dehe tathatmanopalipyate yatha sarvagatam saukshmyat akasham nopalipyate sarvatravasthito dehe tathatmanopalipyate. Yes. So you will always find Bhagavad Gita is self-commentary. One verse will tell something, the next verse generally will be the commentary of what has been said. So in verse number 32, na lipyate has come. That na lipyate is explained further in verse number 33. That relationship always you must try to find out. In what way the next verse is connected to this verse, that way. Right. So what is being said? Yatha, just like. Sarvagatam akasham, this space, akasha, which is sarvagatam, all pervading. Na upalipyate, it doesn't get tainted by what is present in space. There are so many things in space, but the space is not tainted by the things present. Why is it so? Saukshmyat, because it is sukshma. The sukshma will not be tainted by sthula. The subtle will not be tainted by the gross. This is a law. This is a law. Gross can be tainted by the subtle, but subtle will not be tainted by the gross. In the same way, sarvatra avasthitah atma dehe na lipyate, na upalipyate. In the same way, this atma, which is self, which is all pervading, it is not tainted by body. Now this comparison is very commonly seen in Vedanta, comparing atma with akasha. So what are the comparisons? Let us see. Number one, akasha is all pervading, sarvagatam. In the same way, the Supreme Self is also all pervading. Loke sarvamavritya tishtati sarvavyapi. Both are same. Number one. Number two, akasha cannot be seen, saukshmyat, because it is subtle. In the same way, atma also cannot be seen. Why atma cannot be seen? Because it is a seer. Seer cannot be seen. Be in touch with fundamentals. Right. So, just like space cannot be seen, atma also cannot be seen. Right? 2. 3. Space appears to be inside the pot, but actually pot is inside the space. Space appears to be inside the pot, but actually speaking, pot is inside the space. In the same way, the self appears to be inside body, but actually body is inside the self. Yes. You see, consciousness appears to be inside the body. Actually speaking, body is inside consciousness. Right? Yes. 4. Pot is born in space, exists in space, and then dissolves in space. In the same way, body exists in consciousness, remains in consciousness, and then dissolves in consciousness. Right? Number 4. Number 5. Space is unaffected by pot. Whether the pot exists or not, it doesn't care. Space is unaffected by the pot. In the same way, consciousness is unaffected. Na upalipyate. That is the point. Na lipyate. Consciousness is unaffected by the body. So see, so many comparisons and beautiful comparisons. That is why Atma is very many times compared with Akasha. Now, this example has a defect. That is why next example Bhagavan gives. What is the defect of this example? See, space here is different from space there. Yes or no? Space here is different from space there. So therefore, if so many pots are kept, this space is different from that space. Space inside the pot. So naturally a doubt may come, or we may misunderstand that Atma is different in different bodies. Because the space is different. Small space, big space, this space, that space. Because the space is different, so we may doubt that Atma is also different in different body. So to make it very clear that there is no difference, it is the same Atma who is there in all bodies, the next example is given. What is the next example? Verse number 34. Yatha prakashayatyekah kritsnam lokamimam ravihi kshetram kshetri tatha kritsnam prakashayati bharata yatha prakashayatyekah kritsnam lokamimam ravihi kshetram kshetri tatha kritsnam prakashayati bharata. Yatha ekah ravihi, one sun, imam kritsnam lokam prakashayati. Just like one sun is illumining the whole world, tatha, in the same way, kshetri. A new term has come, Kshetri. Who is this Kshetri? Kshetrajña is called Kshetri. Kshetri, kritsnam kshetram prakashayati. That one Kshetrajña illumines all the Kshetras. Here you notice, till now the topic was Purusha Prakriti. And suddenly now Bhagavan uses Kshetra Kshetri. Why? To indicate that Purusha Prakriti is not different from Kshetra and Kshetrajña. So, just like one sun is illumining the whole world, in the same way, one Kshetri, one Kshetrajña is present in every Kshetra. So, to understand this example better, there are so many pots kept with water. So what do you see in every pot? The reflections of the sun, isn't it? Now we may say, no, all the suns are different. No, they are not different. It is only ekah ravihi. So to point out this one specifically, that the Kshetrajña in all the bodies, it is the same. Paramatma is the same. This example is given. This is called as theory of reflection. Concepts of Vedanta, they are explained with this theory. It is called as Pratibimbavada, very famous Vada. The earlier one was Avachedavada. This is called as Pratibimbavada. The theory of limitation, pot and the space, that is called as Avachedavada. This one is called theory of reflection, Pratibimbavada. Now this is a very beautiful comparison. So the pot is the physical body, water is the mind, sun is the self, the supreme self. So now you see the reflected sun. So what is this reflected sun? Reflected sun is nothing but Jivatma. Reflected sun is Jivatma, original sun is Paramatma. Pot is the physical body. Inside the pot, water is the Sukshma Sharira, mind. So, if you see this reflected sun, it is actually the original sun only, because whether it is original sun or reflected sun, both are nothing but sunlight. Isn't it? Both are sunlight only. But why there is so much of difference? So that sunlight reflected upon this medium, reflecting medium, is what is called as reflected sun. So sometimes consciousness is also called reflected consciousness. So the consciousness which we are experiencing now, it is called as reflected consciousness, reflected in the mind. So if mind is there, reflected consciousness is there. If the mind is not there, this reflected consciousness is not there. So when we say that person has lost his consciousness, so which consciousness are we referring there? Not the original consciousness. It is nothing but reflected consciousness. The reflection will have the property of the reflecting medium. So if the mind is impure, the reflected consciousness also will be impure. Exactly like the reflected sun will be shaky if the water is shaky. The reflected sun will be muddy if the water is muddy. The reflected sun will be dull if the water is dull. In the same way, reflecting medium influences the reflecting sun. In the same way, this reflecting medium called mind will determine the nature of the Jivatma. Right. So if Jivatma has to experience the perfection of Paramatma, what he should do? He should make the reflecting medium perfect. Means what? He must purify the mind. Then what will happen? You will find the very same, the brilliance of that sun reflected upon, say for example, a mirror. As it is, you will see. It's possible. So here anyway the point is this, that original sun is same, reflected suns can be many. In the same way, Kshetrajña is the same, but that Kshetrajña identified with the Kshetras, there can be infinite number. This also answers, this example also answers one common question asked by people. Swamiji, how many Jivatmas are there in this world? This is one question. Because so many Jivatmas are coming, population is increasing, and they say some of them get liberated and they go away permanently. So the question is a very valid question. How many Jivatmas are there? Because if all the Jivatmas are liberated, then the purpose of the world is served. Don't worry, we have infinite number of Jivatmas. Why infinite number? How many reflections can be there for the sun? There can be infinite reflections, isn't it? So Vedanta has never given any reality to reflection. any reality to Jivatma. There can be infinite number of Jivatmas, because just like there can be infinite number of reflections. Right. So here Bhagavan points out another great glory of knowledge. What is that? Freedom from limitations. Nalipyate. The last verse is also a great glory of this knowledge. What is that glory? Kshetra kshetrajñayorevam antaram jnana chakshusha bhuta prakriti moksham cha ye viduryanti te param kshetra kshetrajñayorevam antaram jnana chakshusha bhuta prakriti moksham cha ye viduryanti te param. Yes, those people. Ye viduhu, those who know. What do they know? Kshetra kshetrajñayoho evam antaram. This antaram, this difference between what? Kshetra and kshetrajña. Those who know this. How do they know? Jnana chakshusha. Not laukika chakshusha, but jnana chakshusha. With this physical eye, you will not be able to know what is kshetrajña, what is kshetra. You will have to use your jnana chakshu. Just like you will have to use your jnana chakshu to understand a live wire and a dead wire. Both wire appear to be the same, isn't it? Live wire carries electricity, the dead wire doesn't have electricity. How do you know? Jnana chakshusha. The moment the bulb is glowing, you know this wire is a live wire. Physical eyes are not showing it. It is the eye of wisdom. You have studied electricity, therefore you know it is a live wire. That is called as jnana chakshu. That vision obtained from knowledge. That is called as jnana chakshu. So with this jnana chakshu, when you look, what do you see? Antaram you see. Difference between kshetra and kshetrajña. With this jnana chakshu, what is the benefit you are going to get? Bhuta prakriti moksham. What is this bhuta prakriti moksham? Moksha means liberation. Bhuta prakriti means, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, Bhutanam prakritihi, the nature of all beings. What is the nature of all beings? Bhagavan says ignorance, avidya. That is the common thing in all of us. What is the common thing? Avidya, ignorance. Ignorance about whom? Not physics, chemistry, maths. Ignorance about the self. So bhuta prakriti means bhutanam prakriti, the nature of all beings, which is nothing but ignorance. It has become so natural to us. That's why it is called prakriti. So bhuta prakriti means ignorance. Bhuta prakriti moksha means liberation from this ignorance. Right. So those people who clearly see the difference between kshetra and kshetrajña, and those who have attained liberation from avidya, what happens to them? Te param yanti. They attain the highest. Those people who clearly see the difference between kshetra and kshetrajña through their eye of wisdom, and thus those who have attained moksha from bhuta prakriti, moksha from avidya. What is avidya? In this context, what is avidya? Ignorance. What ignorance? wrong notion that Kshetrajña has some Kshetra involved. Misunderstanding that BMI is a part of Kshetrajña, that is called as avidya. In short, avidya is identification with BMI. Avidya is not knowing oneself. Not knowing oneself as the absolute Kshetrajña, knowing oneself as the impure Kshetrajña. What is impure Kshetrajña? Kshetrajña identified with the Kshetra of BMI. This is ignorance. So those who have liberated themselves from this ignorance, means what? Those who have known themselves as pure consciousness. Such people, what happens to them? Te param yanti. So what is the glory of this knowledge? Moksha is the glory. Liberation is the glory. So what all are the benefits described here? Freedom from vision of plurality. Freedom from all kinds of hatred and negative feelings. Freedom from the fear of death. Freedom from worries, anxieties, etc. born out of the sense of doership. Freedom from delusion. Freedom from all limitations of the body. And then, now, freedom from repeated birth-death cycle. Freedom from ignorance. So these are all the benefits of this knowledge. What happens to them? Te param yanti. They attain the highest. Om Tatsaditi. Srimad Bhagavad Gītāsu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Kshetra Kshetrajña Vibhaga Yogo Nama Trayodashodhyayah. Thus comes to an end the 13th chapter named Kshetra Kshetrajña Vibhaga Yoga. I sincerely invoke the grace of the Lord and the blessings of the entire Guru Parampara. May we also gain this knowledge, and not only Jnana Chakshu should develop, there should also be the result of Jnana Chakshu. What is the result? Moksha is the result. So may we all gain this moksha. May the Lord seated in our heart inspire us to put forth more and more effort in gaining this knowledge. Right. Manasa bhajare guru charanam dostara bhavasagara taranam Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai. Swaminath Sadguru Jai Jai. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Nama Om. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva. Arunachala Shiva, Aruna Shivo. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah Om. Manasa bhajare Guru Charanam. Dostara bhavasagara taranam. Dostara bhavasagara taranam. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.